Hi everyone, and welcome back to Financial Basics, where we make money grow with you. Today I want to be talking about what does net worth actually mean for you, and just taking a look at that big picture perspective and the impact that net worth has on your finances. So why have this discussion? I get a lot of questions on this and a lot of comments really where it's not really a question, it's more of a statement. Is it enough? How much should I retire with? I'm not investing enough, which is really a feeling. We started so late. How can we slow down? How can we pause? Are we on track? And then the other question that I get quite often is, are we saving too much? Are we missing out on today's opportunities of like going on holiday or whatever the case, because I'm in this panic mode where I'm potentially saving too much? And you see it online all the time. By this age, you have to have saved this amount, and you have to have saved 1 times your salary by the age of 30, 3 times your salary by 40, 10 times your salary by the time you retire. And I want to just say that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because how much you have saved shouldn't be tied to your salary, it should be tied to your expenses. Saving in relation to your salary is, in my opinion, a weird way to assess whether you're on track or not. So just a quick overview, what I'm going to cover. What is net worth? I want to just have a quick note on assets and net worth and what the differences are and what income influences this, how income influences this. And then the real deep meat in this discussion is extracting meaning from a point in time. So what can you actually gain by looking at a snapshot, a moment in time, what your current situation is, and then what additional meaning, what additional values can you look at if you're looking at how things are progressing over multiple periods of time, specifically as your rate of accumulation is now taken into consideration. And then I also want to talk briefly on when to take your foot off the gas if you are racing and super focused, hyper focused on your net worth and increasing your net worth and chasing that retirement goal. So net worth is simply your assets versus your liabilities, so assets minus liabilities. The assets that contribute to net worth could include your home, vehicles, bank accounts, investments, whatever you have. Liabilities are just your financial obligations. If you have a mortgage, if you owe money on your cars, anything that drains your monthly expenses as a debt. And what I want to note about net worth is it's not something that you can just instantly have. It's an accumulation. It's something that just takes a long time to actually build up. And if you get to the end of the month, or if you get to a point where you're doing your budgets and you're like, oh, I've got an extra 200, I'm going to put it into investments or shares, whatever the case, you're not actually increasing your net worth. If you do that, you're reallocating the cash into shares. You've got to wait until those shares increase in value before you actually see the delta, the change in your net worth. So the only way that I see is to increase your net worth is reducing your outflows and increasing your inflow. So increasing your income, improving your income, and reducing your outflows, reducing anything that you're spending on, whether that's debt, interest, or even I'm going out, whatever the case may be, going on holiday. If you're reducing your outflows, you're increasing your net worth. So just a note on assets, net worth grows based on the overall asset value. It doesn't care what your debt situation is. So Just an example, if you have 500,000 in assets and they are expected to grow by 10% a year, even if you were to owe 250,000 on those assets, so if you have a house or something, or a flat that you rent out and it's worth 500,000, but you've got a 250,000 mortgage, you will still receive, if you're expecting a 10% growth, you'll still receive 50,000 in growth against the value of those assets, even if your net worth position is only 250,000. So your net worth position a year from now could be 300,000, not 250. So it's a little bit more than just what your assets are. The other thing to note, net worth has no correlation to income, in the sense that if you reduce you could be earning 500,000 a year, but if you're spending 500,000 a year, your net worth is going to change. You're not improving your net worth position, right? So you can potentially look at all sorts of things, but fundamentally, if you are spending as much as you earn or receive an income, you're not improving your overall net worth position in the long term. So extracting meaning from a snapshot, there's a couple of things that you can look at just simply by going, this is my current net worth. You can work out what your retirement goal is based on your current budgets, right? You can look at what age will you reach your retirement if you were to stop adding to your investments today. You can look at what your investments will be worth when you turn 65. You can also look at how much income you would receive on a monthly basis when you turn 65 if you stopped adding to your investments today, and then how much could you safely withdraw if you were to start drawing down on your investments right now. And then all of these numbers, all of these variables that you can look at just by looking at a snapshot, by looking at a single number, a single point in time, is that none of these things actually take the rate of accumulation into consideration. So all of these numbers don't give you that level of detail. And the big question that a lot of people ask is, am I behind where I should be for my age, or am I actually ahead? And let's just see an example. So there's a couple of things here that you're going to need. You're going to need what the value of your investments are, what the value of your retirement is, how much cash do you have, what is your portion of the home, whether you're a single person, whether you have a partner and you're splitting that house 50-50. If you're following proportional budgeting, which is what I suggest, I've done another video on that. You can actually track exactly your portion of the home ownership, and you can do that for shares, you can do that for retirement, you can do that for cash, you can do that for anything. So you can know exactly how much of the home you own, and all of those things together become your net worth. If you also know your salary, which you really should, and you know what your expenses were, if you look at my budgeting video on proportional budgeting and managing money in a relationship, you can also derive your expenses over a monthly basis, or over any period. In fact, it doesn't have to be a month. So you can plug all of these values in, and then the first number that you want to look at is your retirement goal. And your retirement goal is determined by your expenses. So in this particular period, it was 5,000. That 5,000 is then split in proportion to their income. So yeah, partner 1 is on 4,800, partner 2 is on 5,000. So partner 2 has a slightly higher retirement goal. And what you're doing is you're going 5,000 times 300. The reason for that is because you want a safe withdrawal rate of 4%, 0.04. And you're splitting that in proportion. So 300 times the 5,000 gets you to 1.5 million. And the reason for that is because if you do a Monte Carlo analysis, you will in general, and this is what the FI community believes, see that throughout the lifespan of the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones, you can see that a 4% would be a safe withdrawal rate at any point in time. So that gets you to the retirement goal, 300 times your expenses. At what age will you reach retirement if you were to stop adding to your investments today? So that's the next column on this table. And here you can see partner one, they'll reach it when they turn 65.29. So it's a couple months after they turn 65. And you can see partner two reaches it when they're 58. So a little bit earlier. And you can see on average combined, they'll reach that retirement goal when they turn 61. So the next column, what will your investments be worth when you turn 65? If you stopped adding to your investments today, so you can see a partner one would be 717,000. So they're a little bit behind at the moment. They needed to be on 734 by the time that they retire 65. And that's if you stopped adding to your investments, if you paused your investments right now. How much income monthly would your investments generate at 65? So this is a hard line. If they stopped investing when they were 65, their portion, the income that would be generated, at least for partner one, would be 2,392. For partner two, it would be 4,420. How much could you safely withdraw today? So partner one could withdraw 200, partner two could withdraw 266. And the big question, the most common question that I get, and I've got it in bold, am I behind where I should be for my age? So that's the next column on this sheet. And the way you're calculating this is you're going, okay, I have this amount right now in my investment. So partner one here has 25,000 and 35,000. So they're on 60,000. They would need, how much would they need in addition if you were growing that investment at 8.5% and you stopped adding anything anymore? How much more would they need to reach their retirement goal when they turn 65? How much additional do they need to get to that 734 from the current state, which is the 717? And you can almost reverse calculate that value and you end up with 1,423. You can see your partner two's ahead. They're actually ending at 1.3 million when they retire. Their retirement goal is only 765,000, and they're 33,000 ahead right now of where they should be. So now let's look at the more complicated spreadsheet, which is really comparing multiple time periods. So the additional information that you can actually gather by looking at time periods, and this is all linked to your rate of accumulation, is the value of your retirement if you continue to progress like you did over the last budgeting period. So if you budget once every 2 weeks or once a month or once every 3 months, that doesn't matter. But over the last budgeting period, how far have you progressed versus the timeline, versus how much time has progressed? At what age will you reach your retirement goal if you continued to accumulate at the rate that you did for your previous budgeting period? And how much have you gained in time since your previous budgeting period? So these are all things that can be extracted the moment that you have multiple timelines for this, so multiple budgetary periods. So looking at this spreadsheet, it is the exact same. I've just duplicated it out and I've added a third set of numbers. For this sheet, you would still only be filling in the green and you would be filling in your dates of birth. So the three values here: value of your retirement if you continue to progress like you did over the last budgeting period. So if you paused your investments, you can see partner one was behind where they should have been. But the moment that you look at the accumulation rate, and here we went from, I think, 25,000 on the previous one to 25,575 here. And that could be because shares increased in value. It could be because they added more to it. But they actually accumulated 575 here in shares. They accumulated 805 in their retirement accounts. So those two together, if they were to continue to grow it, adding that amount every month, where would they actually be? So if they did that to the age of 65, they would actually retire with 3.1 million in their retirement accounts. And they would reach, same with partner two, if they continue to accumulate. So yeah, partner two did 870 under actual accumulation, 870 to shares, 1,400 to retirement. They would actually reach 7 million in net worth by the time they retire. So the difference is there. They go from 728,000 if they had left it alone to 3.1 million, right? So there's a massive difference here from what they would have had if they paused their investments versus adding more. At what age will you retire? Will you reach your retirement goal basically if you continue to accumulate at this rate, right? So you can then go, okay, well, 3 million is way too much if your retirement goal is 735,000. So when will you actually reach that? So the partner one, for example, is 34 years old. They will reach that when they turn 49. And what that means is they're 15 years away from reaching their retirement goal. If they continue to accumulate and grow their shares in their retirement at the rate at what they did over the last month. And then the next column is how much you have gained in time since your previous budgeting period. So that's just row 3 for each partner and for their combined. So I've got a 1 in there, but that's a formula. It's actually calculating, and this is all measured in months. So what actually happens here is you're looking, when did I last do a budget versus now. So yeah, they did it a month ago. And what's happened is they've actually gained 2.2 months in that month, right? So they're ahead. They're actually accumulating faster than they would need. So if they accumulated at the same rate as time progressed, then what that means is they would retire when they're 65. And by going ahead, by accelerating it, by investing more than what they need in any one budgetary period, yeah, they accumulated 2.2 months worth of time. So what that fundamentally means is you've actually brought your retirement date forward by a certain amount. And every month where you accumulate more than what time has progressed, you're bringing that date closer and closer. The other 3 values that I wanted to talk about, and I've got them at the bottom there, is years to retirement. So you're just looking at, okay, this person, partner 1 is 34, they're retiring when they're 49. So this one automatically just calculates the number of years between those 2 dates. Partner 2's 11 years from retirement, they're 30.6, they're retiring when they're 42. And then the combined average for that. And then I've also got the gains there, right? So how much did you gain versus how much time has progressed? So yeah, partner 1 gained 1.2 months. So they did 2.2 months worth of savings in the space of 1 month. So what I did here to work out, and you have to find this balance yourself, but fundamentally one of the questions I get is, once someone has hit coast FI, which is that point where you know you have enough in investments already that you'll reach your retirement goal by the time you are 65, then the question becomes, okay, how do I bring that date forward? So anything that I add to it is going to bring that date forward, but how much do I know when to take my foot off the gas, when to slow down, when to stop, when to start enjoying the life that I have now? And what I wanted to show in this video is that it is exponential. And what I mean by that is the first 1,000 is extremely valuable, right? So yeah, what I've done is I left that spreadsheet as is, completed, and I just changed the amount that was being put into investments, into shares every month. So I increased that amount by 1,000. So you can see there I put 0 in, I put 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, so on, all the way up to 10,000. And then what I did was I noted how old that person would be when they retired if they were to save that amount. And you can subtract that from the previous amount, so the difference between the two. So 6.3 years is the difference between the 49.08 and the 55.38. That's how you get your 6.3. So the first 1,000 that this person adds to their investments brings forward their retirement date by 6.3 years. And the next 1,000 that they invest into shares every month or into retirement every month only saves them an additional 3 years. The 1,000 after that gets them another 2 years. So the more they invest, by the time they're at 9,000 to 10,000, they're only saving themselves an additional 3 months. So they're retiring when they're 38, 39, so they're like 8 years away. But it's much, much, much less of a gain. And the question is, could I have spent that 1,000 now and actually go on holiday or do something really nice? That would be 1,000 per month for 8 years, and you're not really gaining a lot, in the sense that you're chasing this big number and you're not giving the investment that time to really do exponential growth, to do the growth that you would receive from the market. So the 9 to 10,000, you're saving yourselves a quarter of a year, a third of a year. And you can graph those values, and you can actually see the impact that it has, with age being on the bottom, and the amount that you would need to save to retire at that age. And what this shows is, it shows that if you were to save that 9,000 or that 10,000, you're adding a couple of months, but that first 1,000 has a huge impact where you're really, really saving a lot of time, like extra 1,000 a month, and you're bringing that forward by 6 years. And I'm not saying 1,000 a month is everything. This graph will apply no matter what that number is. It could be the difference between £10 and £100, or £10 and £1,000. It doesn't matter. That variation within those numbers is going to have less and less of an impact the more you put in. So in summary, there is value in knowing and understanding your net worth. You can attain, and you can really start to grasp what the impact of that has down the road if you look at how your net worth is changing between different budgeting periods, how you're accumulating your net worth. And there are potentially reasons to slow down and really assess what impact it has on your timelines and on your retirement goal dates, if you just slow down a little bit, take your foot off that gas and try and work out and actually know the values of what that extra £100 is going to have in terms of the impact on your retirement date versus potentially living a little bit more in the moment and doing something else with that money. So finding the right balance for you personally is fundamentally, it starts with knowing your number and knowing the impact of those numbers. And then you can decide, make a rational, logical decision and go, okay, this is what I'm going to go and spend, and this is the impact on my retirement number. I know that now, so I'm more comfortable being able to spend that. I'm not feeling guilty about spending that money. If you like this video, please share it, like it, subscribe. If you have any questions or requests, please email me. If you have a burning financial question in your personal finances that you would like me to cover on this channel, please let me know at financialbasicsabc@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.